Hello everyone and welcome back to the Overwatch Collegiate Varsity Series. I am your host Kevin Kanashi Taguba and I am joined by Victor V-Flight.
Politikan.
Yep, not gonna attempt that. Once again, we are gonna be watching ArtU versus this time the University of Utah. Both of these teams are coming in, with solid records. We heard that Utah beat Boise pretty clearly in their last week. So, and we just lost to them barely here. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what they are going to bring out. Any tips that you want to give ArtU before we hop into this match?
Well, if you saw my tweet on Twitter, but who follows me on Twitter? Not like Alan Guy or something. Anyways, ArtU Esports have definitely went immediately straight into a VOD review right after the game of Boise. Currently, they're not too used to fighting against Farah. It is their main weakness. Yes, I'm saying that on stream, but you know what? They're going to work on it. They're going to improve on it. The best way for them is to basically better combo coordination, better positioning, and basically timing.
Yeah, so we definitely saw them immediately after this match. They went into a VOD review like immediately afterwards, and that just shows the dedication that these players have. They just want to ace everything, make sure that everything is up to par, and once they're ready to go, they just fire it up. So for this match, once again, it's going to be Busan, because that's just the map pool today. We get to see Busan again. So on Busan, they did really well on Busan. As we saw them, they were playtesting it quite a bit, and that was the one map that they did win. They won the first one right off the bat, and I feel like when we saw Boise play, they threw a couple of random things at them that wasn't necessary, or like something that we don't usually see in the meta. So, for example, we saw the Reinhardt at the very beginning. I love Reinhardt
Reinhardt's a good tank, but not in this meta right now.
It's just really interesting to see him in place of Sigma. So like they were running the double shield, but they were running Reinhardt as the second shield with the potential to charge and get in there. So pretty much the lobby setup, whenever they're ready to fire it up, we'll just get ready to start this up. I think they're having a chat, figuring out little specs here and there. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Utah apparently coming in as one of the stronger teams in this bracket, in this western region. So yeah, we saw ArtU once again. Big V-Flight, you were the coach, VOD reviewer for this team as well. Is there anything that you want to say about your team coming into this? Like I heard that you were reviewing a couple of potential different play styles from different players because they're not playing their main role or the main heroes that they were used to.
Well, it is new meta. Most of them they've been mainly trained on goats, like most teams, until the recent meta shift. I'd say they can play the more aggressive playstyle as long as their coordination is on point. Playing aggressive will get them through almost any varsity team in the West Coast. In the East Coast, that's a different story, but I'll get into that at a different time. For now,
so yeah, we're going to hop right into it. This is going to be Busan. We're on Sanctuary. Once again, the first map that we are going to be seeing here on Busan. It's very close, very tight. It's got that drum in the middle.
Yeah.
When it comes to this map, is there any specific things that you want to see coming out from ArtU?
From ArtU, I do want to see more. Well, I definitely know we're going to see symmetric because that's their plan. What I want to see more is some teleport gimmicks. So there's a teleport, and then T-Cat would Doomfist punch through a teleport and basically teleport on the other side and punch someone from behind or from the side. Surprise them. Do something different. Something that no real team is actually going to do.
So just some gimmicky, hilarious TP strats that we have coming out from here. So yep, here we go. We're about to open the gates of the first match here in about 5 seconds. Once again, it's going to be ArtU versus the University of Utah, and here we go.
All right, the Symmetra, just like I called it.
Yep, they use the Symmetra teleporter. I know that most teams use that just to get to the point quicker. They use the Lucio speed boost, and having that positional advantage early really does help them out. So once again, they are going to be starting out this fight here. Kairos still on the Symmetra. I've seen most teams usually swap this off, but especially on this point, it's really difficult to get some of the sentry turrets if you don't pay attention to that top part. So they are going to find it, but Inspire is going to find a couple picks off here. They're going to be losing down 3, so it looks like the University of Utah is actually going to be capping the point first. Once again, their setup is going to be Cool ABC, Inspire, Nightmare, Zombie, Andy, and Hollow. So, very solid team so far, running the basic Reap Fist combo. Anything else you want to add here?
I mean, with the Reap Fist combo, again, the Doom and Reaper has to play in a more flanky role while trying to create an opening for a team. Instead of tanks this time, they have to create the opening, especially with Reap Fist. But they also have to be wary about what's his name? Cool ABC. They have to keep an eye on Cool ABC. Yes, their Doom will be basically the spearhead, but Cool ABC, he's been looking for flanks. He's been always trying to get behind him or come from the side. They have to keep an eye on him too. They can't just walk to the Widow. Okay, I won't question it.
So yeah, they're just looking for a quick pick here. I think that's a real reason for this. If he does find a pick off here though, oh, huge death loss and the Meteor Strike immediately right on top from Inspire. If anything, they forced them to use a couple of ultimates here, but they are really just pushing the boundary here.
Like I said, like, look at that shield. It's super aggressive. It's a little bit BM, but you know what? It doesn't matter. For University of Utah, they know this meta. They've basically watched so much Overwatch League like most people, and they know enough scrims and VOD reviews to actually understand how the meta works. And you can see it right now, because Zombie is about to pull the rest of
Yep, try to get the full hook combo there. T-Cat trying to find something out of the backline. Kairos does find Cool ABC, but Inspire also finds T-Cat. So they are going to be down a couple of players here. Here comes the Bongo coming out. That's going to be a lot coming out of here. University of Utah also commits their beat here. But Techie still popping Coalescence, trying to keep the team up, but it's not going to be enough as the rest of the University of Utah is going to clean up ArtU.
Now there's another thing about Academy Art University. They are strong mechanically, but when it comes to coordination is where they lack. So they basically start the fight too slow. Yes, they did. Yes, they did answer the Sigma ult by taking someone out early, but they couldn't kite fast enough. They couldn't basically defend. The supports couldn't do their job well enough right there because they weren't coordinated enough to protect them, to heal them. Bryson had his beat at the time, so while they did take the initial pick, they couldn't sustain long enough. And University of Utah, as we couldn't see there because solo observing is hard, don't blame the observer by the way, they were kiting. They were kiting a lot and well around the pillars, the drum. So one of the reasons why, how I put it, like Sanctuary is one of the hardest maps to fight if both teams are equal matched or if you're defending.
Yeah, it's just because there's tight corridors, you have the ability to dip in and out of sight lines, and whichever team you really utilizes that the most usually comes out on top. So we do see the Reinhardt coming up in the University of Utah. They're running an old school composition here. We see a Genji, a Torb, and then, you know, Ryan Zarya. So it's going to be interesting to see this coming out, especially against such a meta lineup with ArtU.
I still don't understand why they would play Reinhardt here. Is there like some agreed meta to do on this point right here? Because the Reinhardt would just get punched and infused by the Doomfist. But then again, the Orb is also keeping the Doomfist in check.
So yeah, Nightmare and the rest of the crew is just pushing on through, and Price trying to stay alive, but I guess this shakeup is something that most teams don't really see often. You know, the Ryan Zarya used to be popular back in like season 3 and 4, but not necessarily like around now. But with this new 2-2-2 lock, I do feel like we can see this quite a bit. So the University of Utah just showing off a little bit of some of their flexibility here. It might come into their favor or not. So Techie does find a kill with the Coalescence, but Nightmare does find Techie. Now Dragon Blade coming out in the background, going to be able to kill Harambe, but they are going to try to push their way through. They're being aggressive with these ultimates too. They're just using them willy-nilly. Kairos only has his ultimate here, but he's going to get deflected quickly.
Deflected right back in the face.
It's unfortunate for him, so it looks like ArtU is going to try to regroup here. I feel like if you are ArtU here, would you try to run a different route, or do you still think that running head into here knowing that you have the ult advantage going in is the right way?
I'd try a different route because they know where you're going from at this point, and they're already set up there. They need to just go around and try to slice them, but that ain't happening here.
So yeah, they're just using ultimates just to push on through and Inspire. Trying to get even more aggressive. Kairos, he being closer to spawn, maybe keeping it up, but University of Utah just pushing their way through, keeping it aggressive here. Inspire Oh, with the hammer kill. Just trying to clean it up. Yeah, go for it.
This is like ArtU. There's another thing about ArtU is that when they hit a wall, they just keep hitting the wall. They don't think about like how to get around it, how to break through it. They just try to force it through.
So it's just like me and Sekiro. I just keep running in.
Oh, it's everyone.
Getting slapped around.
It's everyone in software games.
Oh, there you go. So anyways, Pac-Man trying to make a play here. He's got a couple seconds to get in here, but looks like Harambe's going to be on the ball. There we go. They do pick off Zombie, and it looks like they are stabilizing again, but it's already 99. It's going to be a really hard push considering that the University of Utah is going to be playing with ult advantage coming into this next one.
You can see that cool ABC has swapped off the Genji to the Widow. Seems like he got a little abused by the CC and ArtU comp.
So Harambe just trying to get a knockoff, maybe get somebody out of position in order for them to clean up. And you can see him peeking around that side there. There's Pile Driver going to try to knock up the Reinhardt. They're applying a lot of pressure, but Techie's already gone. TCAT does find the pick off there. Oh, Senior Pac-Man. Going to get brought down by Nightmare. But TCAT trying to find anything with this Doomfist here. Can't quite get the picks that he wants. Kairos already finds Nightmare, so the DPS are still up except for T. There it is. Death Blossom quickly shut down as well.
If they lose this fight, they're going to lose the map.
Yep. And it's just Techie on the point right now, so it's going to be very difficult to just hold this. Cool ABC going to take matters into his own hands now. And Senior Pac-Man going to touch the point. Harambe's going to drop pretty low. TCAT trying to stall for a little bit. Going to let Kairos touch. And they're trying to regroup here. They might have enough time to stabilize, actually. Oh, the Molten Core coming out from Inspire. Going to be brought down by Kairos quickly. He's looking for even more. Looking at the Widow now.
Bryce Brown, some beats.
There we go. Nice pickoff onto the Ana as well. And they're just going to keep applying pressure. Keep it up. Keep contesting. They don't want their dreams to die here. That's exactly what they're going to do. Kairos almost to a Pulse Bomb. Drops pretty low, but has the recall available. Going to try to hunt down someone else. Can he find anyone?
No.
Try. Nope.
He did.
Well, ArtU still hasn't flipped, or it has flipped the point already, but it's getting really close. 89%. ArtU hanging onto it. Now, let's see if they could, do you go for the CC? Hollow actually drops off the map. That's huge. They're going to lose a couple of players. The Gravitic Flux by Senior Pac-Man going to keep them up, but the Graviton Surge trying to keep their dreams alive. Not going to happen. Harambe drops the minefield, going to zone him out. Kairos has Pulse Bomb available if he can find it, and they're going to get it.
Now that's a good comeback from ArtU. So this is basically how I put it. You're basically looking at a newer version of Season 1 and 2. You know, when competitive first started, like Death Ball versus Dive. They had more of a dive comp. They had the Doomfist, they had the Tracer, they had the Hammond Ball, plus the Lucio. That's already enough dive. You don't need a Sigma to do much. Just make sure he protects the point and protects the Moira. On the other side, you had an easy Death Ball. The only difference would be like swapping would be the Doom and Widow, and that's not going to help too much against the dive.
Exactly. The dive composition that came out, it was kind of a last-ditch effort, but it did work in the end because of the aggressiveness and the fact that it's really difficult for Rein Zarya to peel back. It just makes it harder for them to support their supports. Obviously, if you take out their supports, they're gonna drop quick. So ArtU gonna be opting in for a Symmetra Bastion composition this time, trying to use that teleporter this time to get around and utilize that. This is something that you've been practicing with them quite a bit.
The contenders team Square One used to do this kind of playstyle during the era of Ghosts. They would pull up in this little corner here and then just basically camp it. The enemy team can't contest and they can't die. Obviously, Prices died, but you know what? They still win. They got the points.
Yeah, he tried to boop him into it. It did cost him a little bit. Techie bouncing that ball right above just to get that that positioning of the healing.
Harambe's getting a little aggressive here.
Oh, he's getting chased down. He's running.
Harambe, what are you doing?
There you go. So he does get out of the way, but he did have to commit his shield earlier. So we'll see if that does play in. The huge slam by Inspire. That catches out 4, and that's going to be a full team kill. University of Utah playing that very cleanly, understanding, if you're going to play in that corner, we're just going to slam the corner.
Mainstream question, like, I do like the strat that ArtU does have, but they didn't have a Baptiste for the Bastion. That's almost like a must-have.
Yeah, if you're going to be running that, I feel like you do need that, but what would you give up at that point? You swap Techie off of the Moira for that, and then just hope that Price can keep the beat, because you kind of need that for Sigma. So it really depends on where they want to go with this, but
I would done like Mercy Baptiste, to be honest, for this kind of comp, but for now, you can see Kairos is back on his favorite character.
So yeah, Kairos is on the Widowmaker looking for a quick hit stand kill, and Zombie is actually going to find him this time, so really going to shut down that initial push. As ArtU is trying to regroup, waiting on Kairos. Kairos is actually going to switch over to the McCree, so this might be an easier way to deal with enemies that do have an escape. If you're able to catch them either before or afterwards, you should be able to clean it up. They do find cool ABC, so that is their Reaper gone. This gives them time to kind of push back in if they have the numbers advantage going in here.
Price does have beat 4 to grab the Flux. Can he do it? Can he stay alive just long enough to protect them?
Inspire going to be going down, and here comes the Gravitic Flux. It's going to be able to lift them up, so the Academy of Art is trying to keep their footing here and trying to find the right pickoffs. The Slam trying to get in, doesn't quite find anybody, but ArtU starting to stabilize here. Oh, they're going to be pushing in. Here we go. Nice melee there. Price getting the final blow on cool ABC, even after his stagger kill, and that was important.
Now he's going to see the classic Tatsy back. By the way, that kind of scared me. We just got game audio in the middle of that, so I was like, whoa, that's scary. Oh my god. Anyways.
It's important. We need that.
That is true.
So Pac-Man does have Gravitic Flux for this fight if he wants to use it. Oh, nice rock. Knocks him down to the low ground. So cool ABC is going to be looking for it, but he's looking for a Flux. He is going to be able to lift. Oh, he misses the lift.
He only gets the Orisa, and oh my god.
They're just going to be able to capitalize off of that with the Death Blossom in the background, plus being able to just pick off a couple people. So it did cost them a couple of ultimates, but it will give them the advantage going into this. Already 90% for the University of Utah, so ArtU has got to figure out what they want to do in order to get in here. TCAT gets quickly picked off there. It's just unfortunate for him to turn that corner. Oh, but Kairos returns favor, gets a pick on Andy, but it does cost him his life, so no damage coming in here. Pac-Man on the ball. He does get one. He does get two. He gets two.
Going huge.
So it does cost him a little bit, but Harambe going to be able to just keep the pressure up, and ArtU is going to be able to flip it.
Yeah, what is with all tanks in Overwatch and clutching? Like, what is this? I've never seen an off tank not clutch.
Oh, yeah. Pac-Man switching over onto that ball last second, just being able to give him enough mobility to get into the back and just deal the damage that he needed.
Now I can see here with University of Utah, they're not too used to playing against a Hammond from what it looks like. And now that they have a Hammond, T and Pac-Man can go for more of a dive. They already got Andy. T-Cat with the punch on Andy, and here comes the Meteor Strike. Ooh.
Meteor Strike already getting down. Kairos already picking off two, and ArtU starting to stabilize even more. Hollow's going to finish himself off, and yeah, they're just applying a lot of pressure now, and this may be the turnaround that ArtU needed. If they do get this, obviously this is the last point of Busan. If they secure downtown, they win this map.
I think I know how to beat University of Utah.
So they're trying to go for a dive. This is the last-ditch effort. They do throw down the bongo. It does cost them TCAT, and Price drops pretty quickly as well. They're going to be costing a lot. The slam coming from over the top. Inspire looking for it. Techie trying to keep everybody up with the Coalescence, but might not have enough HP for herself, and she's going to get slammed. Overtime. It still is in ArtU's favor, so they do have time. Price touching the point, trying to get a quick boop, but it's going to cost him his life for it. Overwatch, the overtime tick, it's not going to be enough in the slam.
Just like a millisecond off.
So, yep, there goes. University of Utah is actually going to take map number 1 and take the series lead.
Play of the game.
Inspire with the play the game as Doomfist. It's probably that one, yep, right there one in the middle. He pressed Q basically.
He pressed Q, and I think there was an Orisa hold too. No, there wasn't. It was just classic grouping up. It's just the way how that composition works specifically. You have to play really tight, and it's really difficult without a Baptiste. If you know that they have like a one-shot kill, they could either use Gravitic or, in that case, Meteor Strike. If they use either one of those two, and you don't have a Baptiste to like secure that your team is going to go down, you're going to die.
So, from that map, I see something consistent with both teams. RU is not so you. RU has never really liked the whole goat style, the slow play style. They like playing the aggressive and fast style, like dive. And as you can see, when they immediately switch to something that's similar to dive, they start doing better. And likewise with what apparently is okay, they switched the names. Okay, Utah, they seem strong with the current meta, but they're not used to playing against dive.
Yeah, so it's something that like teams, especially like us, we're
Yeah.
old veterans. We remember the dive composition days where it was like if you're not running Winston, Diva, Genji, Tracer, Zenyatta, and Mercy, you're losing. So we remember those days, and I think because we're old and veterans, and we're telling these guys like, hey, this could come back, especially with the new patch, with the new potential buffs to Winston and Tracer and all those characters. We might be seeing them a little bit more. But it looks like we are going to be moving on into our next match, which had to be a hybrid, and in this case, it is King's Row.
Scrims row.
Scrims Row. Literally every team likes this map.
No one hates this map. It is such a good map is such a good map design. Like you can't go wrong, especially in scrims if you just need like a good map to get off from like playing Hanamura for like 8 rounds.
Who doesn't like 8 rounds of Hanamura? Come on, how about the 13-13 game that ends in a draw on Drawnemura? That's like the best game. Said no one. Anyways, we're going into King's Row. King's Row, as most of you guys know, it's one of the oldest maps. It's one of the most comfortable maps for a lot of teams. This is a map that you like study, you figure out. It's kind of like one of the classic maps that everybody plays.
Like you can play almost any meta on this map and it's still good.
That's what I like about it. Like knowing that on this map you can kind of do whatever you want. As long as your team is coordinated enough to make it happen, it all looks good. So ArtU this time going in with a Bastion comp. This time they're opting in for the Pharah. So TCAT is going to be on Pharah. What do you think about this comp?
I think they're actually listening to the VOD review that we went over, especially when I actually had my hand in. So I told them that any map, any hybrid or escort map with an open space on the first point, Pharah Bastion would be the better idea because of such open space. The Bastion can counter if they have a Pharah, and your Pharah can just basically reign supreme because they're attacking. They have to move. If they're immobile for just one moment, the Pharah can just basically just run on them, slap them, kiss them to booty, and slap them again.
Yeah, so that's just the way how it works. Like, the fact that the defenders can play a little bit more stationary, they don't have to always be constantly moving, does give them the advantage when it comes to like bunker comps in general. And when it comes to, you know, the pharmacy composition, being able to use that aerial superiority, it does force you to play different angles. So ArtU utilizing this Pharah in this way would really help him out.
What is this shield? What happened? Did Harambe accidentally misplace the shield?
Oh, here comes the amplification matrix trying to shred through them. That's 32. Kairos trying to deal in the damage that he needs. The Mei already on their side, so they have to watch out for that. But they are playing it very tight and very close. But the Blizzard coming in, going to be able to freeze the Harambe. Harambe dropping really low here, and Kairos also going to be dropped. It's just very difficult to get in there and keep the team alive.
That was actually a really smart play there by Cool BC. Cool BC, I've been talking about him a lot because he's actually playing heroes that aren't bashing, you know, that is actually more fun to watch. But Cool BC was pretty smart with the Blizzard right there. I'm surprised he got it so fast.
Yeah, he ended up going behind them and using the wall to make sure that they don't have line of sight to even a potential immortality field that Price could have dropped. So very good use of the wall and very good use of the Blizzard in order to just hold them in place.
Now we got on street space. Pharah is decent here. You can still play her, but it's not the most ideal thing. Matter of fact, switching to Mei would be better because of how tight the corridors are.
It's kind of the same way why Ryan Zarya did really well during that meta. It's just tight corridors, and you're able to hit everything in that space. So looks like they are going to be popping amplification matrix on the side of the University of Utah, utilizing that with a Bastion on the high ground. So it's just going to make it very difficult for them to really push their way through, and it's really paying off here.
They're going to start. Oh, that was a Nano Mei? What? Oh man, that's scary.
Yeah, they were really pushing through on that. So looks like Inspire is going to be sitting and chilling over here in the corner on top of the drum.
You know, it would have been really good right here if a cool ABC ice wall the Bastion up into that window just to create more space. But they didn't do that, and it doesn't really matter because ArtU will not be pushing together fast enough to contest.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult. Oh, Kairos. He might not even see this if the Bastion is still in that corner. He's walled off. They kind of know that they know that he's there. He does have his Shadow Step or Wraith Form if he wanted to get out, and he does.
That was smart of him. He broke a wall just so he can escape faster. Oh,
okay, here comes the configuration tank followed by the Blizzard trying to get the team down, but TCat's going to get brought down, so is Price. So, Senior Pac-Man trying to keep the rest of the team up, trying to get a Gravitic Flux up at time, but it might not be able to happen. Just going to get brought down here. Inspire just kind of pushing his team along on the payload. It's making it very difficult for ArtU to really gather and push. Yep, and that's going to be that's going to be push number 1, going 3-0. University of Utah just pushing it all the way to the end.
So they are listening. They are coachable. ArtU is a coachable team, but you really have to like be detailed about it. Creating strats is not their most ideal thing, and you have to create for them, or they will find something on Reddit, like a symmetric teleport onto Hanamura point A. Yeah.
Hey, it worked. Okay.
Hey, it works multiple times, and now
works.
Now that San Francisco Shock did it in the very first match of Season 2
with Moth,
everyone started doing it. Like, dang, there goes our strat. But anyways, ArtU's not strong at strategy. We need someone to actually create strategy and show them how to do it. As soon as they lost second points, TCat should have swapped off the fair because while she does still have high ground there, she is not ideal. As a matter of fact, Doomfist or Mei would have been better. Yes, they are playing against a Bastion. That's why the Mei would have been better. Wall the Bastion off, like wall in front of him, he'll still shoot through it, but at least you give yourself enough time to push up and start fighting the Bastion. Or, if they have a bad G's, wall him up so that the immortality field
doesn't have line of sight.
Yeah, or just out of range.
Yeah, so you could also bury it in the wall too. So if you just put the wall up right where the immortality field is, they don't have line of sight either side. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what ArtU does as they are going to be making their approach here. Hopefully they can stabilize as they are going to be pushing their way through. So this time they're on the attack. This time they are going to be running the Doomfist Reaper. Just kind of going back to their guns here.
They are running the sim.
Yeah, Zombie tried to get a quick pin on that Reinhardt. Didn't quite find anybody. Oh, a nice pick off by TCat. Trying to finds full ABC, so no more Hanzo on that side. They're going to lose Inspire as well, and this is a really quick take by ArtU. They're just pushing their way through and making sure that they cannot leave.
See, that's pretty good because, well, basically, they are a stationary comp. They are running double shield, but not Sigma Orisa. They're running Sigma Orisa Rhine. So basically, TCat has free reign to bully the tanks as much as he wants.
Yeah, they really don't have a crowd control ability on that, on the University of Utah side, so TCat kind of has free reign here. That's really smart of them. They just made them commit going all the way up, and they want to push on this. ArtU trying to get aggressive, but it is forcing out ultimates by the side of University of Utah. It does get a couple of pickoffs here. So if you're ArtU, I feel like you just reset, get your team back together, and then push on back, because you know that they had to commit ults in order to get there.
Yeah, and if you look at the ult economy right now, you know it's actually pretty even. University of Utah is actually doing pretty good right now. They equalized the ult economy, and now they have regained defensive position with the payload, especially at that one choke point, the arch.
So yeah, the arch in general is just a very easy spot for shield tanks if they're able to just pull that down. So they are. Oh, the Earth Shatter coming in from the back. I don't know if it caught out anybody, but they're just going to keep pushing on through. TCat and Kairos with the 3-man Death Blossom, trying to get even more out of it. Cool ABC is going to be erased and slammed into a wall. TCat not allowing him to breathe.
This is nice. You know, I keep telling them to play. I want them to play a kind of a San Francisco Shock style like they did in Grand Finals, to have a Bastion on every Halo and Escort map. But you know what? This is fine. Like, they are rolling through Utah right now because they have nothing to stop TCAT. They have no real way to stop Karos unless you headshot with the Hunter arrow.
So yeah, they're really relying on this. But okay, there's a nano boost. They're looking for a meteor strike as well. It looks pretty even so far. They're already playing 4-on-4 here, but here comes the Bongo, Senior Pac-Man, trying to just survive the fight. TCAT. Once again, if you have no CC for this man, he's gonna be slamming you into walls. He's gonna be taking you out as quickly as he can.
Give say Doomfist is broken. He's not that broken. I'd say like drop the cooldowns from on his slam and uppercut from 6 to like 7 to bring it back a little bit. Dang, he's a little slower.
That's something that you don't see often. Price going one-on-one against a Reinhardt. I mean,
Price going 1v1. That's not uncommon. That's freaking common. You should see the boy in scrims.
yeah, this man is. You could consider him the third DPS on this team. He just likes to clean up kills, and it does cost him his positioning. But most of the time, if he knows that he can get away with it, he will.
Yep. More on that later. For now, we got a fight going on.
That's a good. There's a good ultimate by Cool ABC in the backline. Does pick off Techie, who is using Coalescence in order to break in. But yep, there goes the anti-nade. Going to be able to bring down the rest of the team. So ArtU is going to have to come back, reset. University of Utah finally finding some footing here. But the time bank is already in their favor.
See, that was a pretty good Hanzo ult from Cool ABC. He zoned out. He cut ArtU in half and basically zoned out the back line from the front line, giving them free range. But TCAT, he's answering, trading things back.
Yep, and they're breaking pretty even. But considering that they're pushing up this quickly, they are gonna have faster respawns. But it's kind of dead center right now. We gotta see if the Academy of Art is able to just bully through these shields or not.
That was a waste of the grasp right there.
Yeah, he's trying to get some charge there. All Karos. He's lurking. He's lurking. Here comes the Death Blossom over the top.
Oh, but that could be enough. That could be just enough. Oh wait, no. Esper is nano. Never mind.
Yeah, Inspire had the nano boost, and that's going to be enough to push on through.
Yes, Inspire.
It was smart. It was a smart play to try to get that off, but it did cost them the fight. The fact that they did force out a couple of plays there, it was just difficult for them to really collapse and get the kills that they want. So Karos is going to be swapping onto the Widow.
Oh, the Earth Shot from behind. The classic old Reinhardt from around the corner.
That's a bumper tactic right there. Oh my God, Karos does get the repick onto Cool ABC, so at least not going home empty-handed. He does switch over to the McCree. So now he's trying to get through the shield. Nice flashbang over the top, and they're trying to.
Oh, is that
to
TCAT? Okay, no one got pinned there. Nice.
So yeah, the swap over here, trying to get over the shield, does find Inspire, so there's no way for that to go off. Karos trying to pop off, and he gets 2, gets 3. He wants his name in the kill feed, and that's exactly what he's gonna get.
4.
It's 4. Can he get the rest? TCAT
no.
gonna give him the offhand this time. But Andy, the rest of the team is gonna be coming back. There are 3 ultimates on the side of the University of Utah if they want to push.
Oh man, you really just gotta love watching a good hit scan.
Yep, Karos coming back. High noon, pop. No way to really clear that up. He's just trying to get some damage and trying to break the shield, but the Reinhardt is nano this time. Does get Karos, dropping him quick. He's just dealing so much damage, and shields don't help you against that. TCAT probably gonna get picked off here, and that's a solid reset. Good push by them, though.
That was a really good push. Sadly, it's still not good enough because they are behind on time by 3 minutes.
So yeah, even if they do complete it, they have to do it with time on the clock, or else it's going to be a draw. So the only way to do that is to they either have to cap with less or with time on the clock, or
Overtime.
if they go to OT, they're going to either lose or draw.
Well, that's bad for you. If they draw them, they go to map 3 and get another chance, and then go to the tiebreaker.
So here comes the Meteor Strike. Drops in the back. Inspire's just using that to escape. Harambe trying to pull Inspire back, and he does. That's going to be a good pull. And plus a Coalescence. You can't protect that. from the shield. T-Cat gets 2 with the Meteor Strike, and he just keeps pushing forward. ArtU starting to find their footing here in the last couple seconds here, and they are going to be able to cap it and get their time.
Oh, that was a what you call butt clenching.
Exactly.
Basically.
That's a good way to describe it. It was very tense. They were trying to get into there and, you know, finish it off. I'm glad that they did it with time. It's going to give them a minute. So if you're ArtU in this case, what is the strat? Do you go back to something that's divey that they like, or do you feel like you play it slow and steady throughout this fight?
Well, they do have a minute, so that means they have 2 good team fights at least. I would say play more of a dive. If they're playing Bastion, just play outside of Bastion's sightlines. Get behind him, like just stop him from actually doing damage. So Winston D.Va have defense matrix going on, and then when that happens, you know, just regular dive. Doomfist, May, any form of a dive could end University of Utah's first points. After that, it's all in the air after that.
Exactly. I feel like the way how ArtU likes to play, especially on these kinds of points, if you duck underneath where the garage is on, especially on King's Row, if they're playing that Bastion comp and they're trying to play it on that high ground, you could just hide in that area towards the garage, and they have to contest the point. But University of Utah going to go with the May Doomfist composition. Kairos going to be looking for a quick pick here, potentially on the Widow, unless he's going to switch. It looks like that's going to be the kid. Nope. He's going to stick on the Widow. So they might just look for a quick pick here, considering that if they do get the pick, they have the numbers advantage plus a long spawn.
Oh, the May wall. Oh no, the May wall.
They use the May wall into the main fist. Kairos does pick off Andy though. That's one of their supports down, but he does get rocked as well. So ArtU probably only has one more solid push to get through. Harambe pushing on through, pulls back the Ana. Can he get the kill? He's trying to go for the melee, but he saves himself. Oh, Harambe gonna get staggered up here. There's only 23 seconds left here for ArtU to make their final push.
Oh, but Kairos does take a pick off the Sigma right there.
I feel like some of these picks that he's getting, ArtU just needs to really push in and capitalize off of it. Okay, so they do commit the wall to block T-Cat. That's solid on his part. Kairos trying to look for a different line of sight this time. They do force overtime, so they are playing for this last point here. Harambe slammed up against the wall. Doesn't really have much to go off of. The slam going to be able to save May. Oh, but Harambe is going to get picked off in this corner. Meteor Strike coming out from the University of Utah. Looking at the back line, does find Kairos. The rock sailing over their head, and that's going to be a lot of ultimates being used by the University of Utah. Trying to finish it off, and that's what's going to happen there.
That first fight almost was ArtU's. If anything, if I were to change that fight right there, we saw Harambe basically just spamming the May wall. But as you can see through the wall with the team outlines, you can see that they're fighting on the other side of the statue. Harambe was not near them. He was just basically shooting a wall for nothing, for no reason. He's basically getting taunted by the wall. If we were put into like MMO terms, he's getting taunted by a wall that he didn't need to be shooting.
Exactly. Like it does also come into play of like knowing where your team wants to go. I felt like with the Doomfist understanding that, you know, if they drop a wall, you could consider that a shield for your side as well. It's a good way to, it's a difference of mentality. If you could think of it as, you know, if they put up a wall, that's also a shield for you. Because they don't have line of sight to you.
Yeah.
So you can use that as a literal way of like swooping around if you want to use that. But Harambe's thought, hey, you know what? We gotta break through this. We gotta hear what the calls are. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do decide to run here. As the Academy of Art University looking to take this to a draw. If they lose this, then the series is over, and the University of Utah
4.5 minutes to make this a draw. If anything, University of Utah could just cheese this, put freaking just shields everywhere, make sure that they can't touch the point. But it seems like they're not doing that. They are going to play it slow and steady, but their shields will be dying pretty soon, especially with that Symmetra.
So they are running the Symmetra Bastion composition. This is something that I've at least seen them practice. Being able to use the Symmetra teleporter more for repositioning purposes, rather than like just getting back to point in time. So they understand that they are going to be rotating over to this corner. I don't know if there's the teleporter. They're going to be trying to get around to the other side, keep the damage up, and Harambe does drop. They do drop the immortality field and try to keep him up. Look at the damage that he's just doing to the barrier. Zombie's going to be dropped quickly. Nightmare does get the immortality field, but T-Cat is already just doing the damage that's necessary to keep it up.
Oh man, the shield break is insane for you right now.
That's what you get when you have the Symmetra damage in. So trying to get anything out of here.
They're chasing someone who is going behind them, but because of that, they are basically out-positioning themselves. But it seems like they're not going to commit on that. Who is behind them? The Doomfist? Probably.
Yeah, it's a very smart move by ArtU, just saying, hey, you know what? Our priority right now is to just contest the point. Make sure that if they touch the point, we got to be able to contest it here. So there's the Doomfist. They do drop the Amplification Matrix. They're going to try to shred through the shield. Terrell dropping really low, but the Meteor Strike is going to catch out 4 of them. That's going to be enough for the University of Utah, and that is going to be the series.
Oh, man. Ah, that kind of hurts because I saw the immortality field pop up, but it was just a half second too late.
I feel like it was the other way around. It was dropped early for them to get in there, but by the time that it expired, the Meteor Strike was ready. So here we go. Yep, it was up.
And
I guess, yeah, now it gets the point. Yep, that's my bad. It's just tough to figure out when you need to drop that, especially, it's a lot of pressure on the Baptiste. It's kind of the same way how back in the day when Zen was meta, it's like, when do you pop Transcendence? Like, do you pop it early enough to understand that, you know, the Doom could wait it out, just sit in the sky and be like, you know what? It's almost time for Transcendence to finish, and boom. Just, you know, but
even then, you don't even... as a Doom Zen ult, Doom can still kill people because it's instant.
Exactly. So it's just a matter of figuring out when to drop the immortality field. And yeah, that's a series. It looks like University of Utah is going to win that 2-0. Is there anything that you want to take away from this fight?
I'd say that from the matches today, I believe ArtU Onyx or ArtU has some scrim partners. Basically, these are the best scrim partners that I've seen them play against in a while. They may have found someone on the East Coast, but they're not Varsity Tespa, or they're not Tespa Varsity, so they're not going to be playing the same maps. I'd rather have them to play against these teams because they're going to be playing against the same maps. They lost to both of them, but they were all close. They're all closer than what the score seems like. It's not a 2-0. Things were just like, well, it's basically, it was a close game. It could have gone either way, just like a hair of a moment difference.
All right, and right now we do have T-Cat. Yep, come on up in here.
Stand between us.
Yeah, here you go.
What's up, guys?
Here you go.
What's
So
up, T-Cat?
How's it going?
So you got 2-0'd. Is there anything that I liked, by the way, on Busan, you guys decided to go for kind of a more aggressive dive comp. Is that something that you guys have been practicing?
Busan, you mean on
On downtown.
yeah,
during the last
so
test.
for the last contest it was more of just like, hey, we need to touch a point.
Yeah.
But downtown in particular, we've been like kind of working on that Bastion strat at the start. It was unfortunate we weren't running Baptiste to keep us alive from the Doom. But I think it went pretty well. Like, we were trading back and forth better than we thought we would, so it went well.
That's very nice. You did get 2-0, but it wasn't a close 2-0. Like, every fight, almost every moment was very close. Like, how do you feel about University of Utah?
I think they're very good. Probably one of the better teams in the Varsity Invitational. In particular, I think they were going probably a little bit less tryhard than they might have gone against a harder team. Like, they ran Genji. They're running Hanzo a lot more. So seeing those off picks are kind of cool. It probably allowed us to get a little bit of more of an edge than we would have gone normally, but I think it went well. But other than that,
It's pretty good.
And then, yeah, I think that's about it. If, yeah, Kings Row, is there an advantage for you guys going into that? Is that just a comfort pick, or is it the map that you guys always wanted to play?
yeah. So Kings Row is definitely one of our stronger maps. I'd consider it. Despite like how it turned out, we think we have like better strats on that maps than the other two maps, which is like, I think it's
Numbani.
yeah, and Hollywood. Yeah, so those are like a little trickier maps. Hollywood is an interesting one. We might have been able to play more with the Widow, but yeah, we picked Kings Row. We thought it was our better pick.
That's pretty cool. And one last thing, like, from what I saw in the whole series is that whenever the team has to like do a last point recontest, you instinctively go or accidentally go into a dive comp. after watching every single dive-ish comp, you've always like had the upper hand against University of Utah. Did you ever find that out like midway and figure out that they're weaker to dive compared to the
Yeah,
current meta?
it's kind of probably along the same lines of them running like the Genji and stuff, where we can more dive easier than like a Reaper. But I think we're gonna look to maybe include more dive, especially with the upcoming meta, where it's like Tracer's getting buffed, Winston's getting buffed. We're actually really good Winston and Tracer players, so it might be something we look to do more.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was another thing that I was going to ask you. With the new PTR patches coming in with a lot of dive, are you guys going to be focusing potentially to just run dive, or are you going to do that just for specific maps?
Probably more specific maps. I think we might go back to like a Orisa Hog sort of Reaper May meta. But if we can coordinate our dives and practice that, that'll be something you'll see more. So look forward for maybe some more dive.
Yep,
Ooh.
definitely looking forward to that, and we're going to be looking forward to even some more games from you guys for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yep, that is TCAT for the. Are you technically? You're technically the captain.
I
of
am
this
the
team.
captain. It's
He's
a
the captain
long
now.
journey to captain, but yeah, we made
I
it.
remember when I first introduced this little pup into the team, and now that I graduate, he's grown so much, and now he's a captain.
I'm the captain, the oldest ranking member.
He technically is. He's a third year. Everyone
It's
else
sad.
is like.
Everyone's a third
and-
too, but I'm the oldest member.
There we go. So that will be it for the Academy of Art University cast here. Thank you guys for watching the Overwatch Collegiate Varsity series. I'm Kevin Kanashi Tagupa. That's TCAT, and that's V Flight. We will see you guys next week.